The notification hit my phone at 2:47 a.m. Korean time while I was reviewing supply manifests in my quarters at Camp Humphreys. My name is Dane Gentry. I'm 32 years old, a lieutenant in the U.S. Army, currently 6 months into a 12-month in South Korea. The alert came from my credit monitoring app, something I'd set up before deploying to keep tabs on my finances while overseas. New account opened in your name. I stared at the screen. The details made no sense. A business checking account at my credit union back in Colorado Springs. Opened 3 days ago. I hadn't opened any accounts. I'd been stuck in briefings and training exercises for the past week. I pulled up my banking app. Everything looked normal at first glance. My direct deposit had hit on schedule. Bills were being paid automatically. But something felt wrong. The account numbers didn't match what I remembered. I scrolled through recent transactions. Most were familiar: rent, utilities, car payment. Then I saw it. A wire transfer for $8,000 to an account I didn't recognize. The memo line read, "Equipment purchase, DG authorization." My hands went cold. I never authorized any equipment purchase. I'd been living in a barracks room eating MREs and instant noodles for 6 months. I called my credit union's fraud line. The automated system put me on hold for 23 minutes. When a representative finally answered, she sounded tired. "Sir, I'm showing the wire transfer was initiated using your online banking credentials. The IP address traces back to Colorado Springs. The authorization came through your registered phone number." "That's impossible. I'm in South Korea. My phone hasn't left this base." "I understand your concern, but our system shows valid authentication. You'll need to file a dispute in writing." I hung up and opened my laptop. My military email showed nothing unusual. Personal email looked clean. But when I checked my browser's saved passwords, something was off. The password for my credit union had been changed 2 weeks ago. I never changed it. Someone had access to my accounts. Someone who knew my personal information well enough to fool the security questions. Someone who could intercept my phone calls or texts. The base was quiet, except for the distant hum of generators. I sat in the dark, staring at my phone screen, trying to piece together how this was possible. $8,000 was gone. Maybe more. I thought about calling my ex-wife Rebecca. We'd divorced 8 months ago, right before my orders came through. The split had been messy but not hostile. She'd kept the house in Colorado Springs. I'd kept my truck and my debt. But Rebecca had remarried quickly. Too quickly. Some guy named Marcus Webb she'd met at her new job. I'd never met him, but she'd mentioned he worked in IT. Something about network security. My stomach dropped. Rebecca still had access to my old laptop. The one I'd left behind because it was too heavy to ship overseas. The one with all my saved passwords and financial documents. The one Marcus Webb could have accessed any time he wanted. I pulled up the credit monitoring app again and requested a full report. The results would take 24 hours to process. But I had a sinking feeling that $8,000 was just the beginning. The credit report arrived at 0347 hours. I'd been awake for 6 hours running scenarios in my head. None of them were good. 17 unauthorized accounts. Credit cards, personal loans, even a mortgage pre-approval. All opened in the last 4 months, using my social security number and military credentials. The addresses varied between Colorado Springs and Denver, but the pattern was clear. Someone had been systematically destroying my financial life while I was 8,000 miles away. I called Rebecca's number. It went straight to voicemail. I tried again an hour later. Same result. My next call was to Staff Sergeant Chen in the communications office. We'd served together in Afghanistan before Korea. If anyone could help me trace digital footprints, it was him. "Gentry, you sound like hell. What's going on?" "I need a favor. Someone's been using my identity to open accounts. I think they had access to my old computer." "The one you left in Colorado?" "Yeah. Can you help me track login activity? See if someone's been accessing my accounts from that machine?" Chen was quiet for a moment. "Meet me in the comm center at 0800. Bring everything you've got." The communications center was a windowless concrete box filled with servers and monitoring equipment. Chen had already pulled up several screens when I arrived. "Your instincts were right," he said, pointing to a series of timestamps. "Someone's been logging into your accounts from your old laptop's MAC address. Started about 3 weeks after you deployed. Can you tell what they accessed?" "Everything. Banking, credit monitoring, even your military personnel records. They knew exactly what they were looking for." Chen pulled up another screen. "Here's the interesting part. The activity always happens between 1400 and 1600 hours Colorado time. Like someone's doing this during their lunch break." I thought about Marcus Webb's IT job. Regular hours, predictable schedule, access to my ex-wife's house where my laptop was stored. "Can you trace the specific logins?" "Already did. Your credit union, 2 different banks, 3 credit card companies. They've been methodical. Small transactions at first, then bigger ones. Classic identity theft pattern." Chen handed me a printed report. "There's more. Someone used your military ID to apply for a VA loan, forged your signature on the application. If that had gone through, you'd be on the hook for a $200,000 mortgage." My hands clenched into fists. This wasn't random fraud. This was personal, calculated. Someone who knew my schedule, my financial habits, my security questions. I need to call my ex-wife again. This time Rebecca answered on the second ring. Her voice was strained. "Dane? Why are you calling so early? Someone's been stealing my identity, using my old laptop to access my accounts. I need to know who has access to your house." Silence stretched between us. In the background I could hear a man's voice asking who was calling. "Rebecca, this is serious. Someone's opened 17 accounts in my name. Stolen thousands of dollars. That's impossible. Nobody has access to your stuff. My laptop is in your house. Someone's been using it to log into my accounts during business hours, every day for the past 4 months." More silence. Then Marcus's voice, closer now. "Who is it, babe?" "It's Dane. He's saying someone stole his identity." I heard Marcus take the phone. His voice was smooth, concerned. "Hey, Dane. Rebecca told me about your Soyan. Tough break about the identity theft. Happens to military guys all the time." "How would you know?" "I work in cybersecurity. See this stuff constantly. Usually it's random hackers targeting service members. They know you guys are deployed and can't respond quickly." Something in his tone set off alarms. Too helpful. Too knowledgeable. Too ready with explanations. "I need that laptop back, tonight." "Sure, no problem. Rebecca can ship it to you. Might take a few weeks to get to Korea, though. I need it secured now. Don't let anyone else use it." "Of course, we'll lock it up safe." After I hung up, Chen was watching me carefully. "You think it's the new husband?" "Everything points to him. Access, opportunity, technical knowledge. And he just volunteered way too much information about military identity theft." "What's your next move?" I stared at the screen showing my compromised accounts. 17 fraudulent accounts, thousands of dollars stolen, my credit score destroyed, all while I was serving my country in a foreign. "I'm going to destroy him." Chen nodded. "What do you need?" "Help me document everything. Every login, every transaction, every forged signature. I want a complete digital trail." "That'll take time. I've got 6 months left on this. That's plenty of time to build a case." Over the next week, Chen and I worked systematically through my compromised accounts. The pattern became clearer with each discovery. Marcus had started small, a $50 cash advance here, a $100 purchase there. Testing the waters. When no alerts triggered, he'd gotten bolder. The mortgage application was the smoking gun. He'd used my military service record to qualify for a VA loan, then listed himself as my financial power of attorney. The forged signature was good, but not perfect. He'd practiced on smaller documents first. I called the VA fraud hotline and spoke with investigator Patricia Valdez. She'd seen similar cases before. "Military identity theft is a federal crime," she explained, "especially when it involves VA benefits. We take this very seriously. What do you need? From me? Everything you've got, documentation, timelines of unauthorized access. We'll coordinate with local law enforcement in Colorado. I shipped her a complete file. Chen had helped me create a minute-by-minute timeline of the fraud. Bank statements, credit reports, login records, IP traces. Everything pointed to Marcus Webb operating from Rebecca's house during his lunch breaks. 2 weeks later, Valdez called back. We've got enough for charges. Wire fraud, identity theft, forgery, and attempted mortgage fraud. The Colorado Springs Police Department is coordinating with our office. When do you move? Soon. But we need your ex-wife's cooperation. She's going to have to choose between protecting her new husband and helping us prosecute him. I thought about Rebecca. We'd been married for 3 years. She wasn't malicious, just naive. She'd probably had no idea what Marcus was doing. She'll cooperate. She's not stupid. We'll see. People do strange things when their world falls apart. That night, I sat in my barracks room staring at my laptop screen. The investigation was moving, but slowly. Marcus was still out there, still had access to my information, still married to my ex-wife. I opened my email and started typing a message to Rebecca. She needed to know what was coming. She needed to understand that her new husband was a criminal who'd been systematically destroying my life while I served overseas. But as I wrote, I realized something else. This wasn't just about money or credit scores. Marcus had violated something deeper. He'd attacked me while I was deployed, unable to defend myself. He'd used my service against me. That was unforgivable. I deleted the email and picked up my phone. Time to call Rebecca again. Time to give her one last chance to do the right thing before the federal investigators showed up at her door. Rebecca answered on the second ring. Her voice sounded tired. Dane? It's late there, isn't it? We need to talk. About Marcus. Silence stretched across the Pacific. I could hear her breathing change. What about Marcus? He's been using my identity, stealing from me, for months. That's impossible. Marcus would never. I have proof, Rebecca. Bank records, IP addresses, login timestamps, all traced back to your house during his lunch breaks. Another long pause. When she spoke again, her voice was smaller. What kind of proof? I walked her through everything. The credit cards, the loan applications, the fake address changes. The digital breadcrumbs that led straight to her kitchen table, where Marcus ate his sandwiches and destroyed my financial life. The FBI is involved now. Agent Valdez from the Denver field office. They're building a federal case. FBI? Her voice cracked. Dane, I swear I didn't know anything about this. I believe you. But you need to understand what's happening. Marcus committed multiple felonies. Wire fraud, identity theft, forgery. He's looking at serious prison time. How serious? 10 to 20 years, maybe more. I heard her start crying. Soft, muffled sobs that reminded me of our divorce proceedings. She'd cried then, too, when she realized our marriage was over. What do you want me to do? Cooperate with the investigation. Tell them everything you know. Help them build the case. And if I don't? Then you might get charged as an accessory. The fraud happened in your house, Rebecca. On your internet connection. They'll assume you knew. The line went quiet except for her breathing. I could picture her in the kitchen of our old house, the one she'd kept in the divorce. Probably sitting at the same table where Marcus had stolen my identity. I need time to think. You don't have time. The task force is moving fast. Agent Valdez said they'd be in contact soon. Task force? Colorado Springs White-Collar Crime Unit. They're coordinating with federal investigators. This isn't going away, Rebecca. She hung up without saying goodbye. 3 days later, Agent Valdez called with an update. Your ex-wife contacted our office. She's willing to cooperate, but she wants immunity. Can you give it to her? Depends on what she knows. We're meeting with her tomorrow. Her lawyer will be present. What about Marcus? Still unaware. We're investigating. We want to keep it that way until we're ready to move. How long? Soon. We're coordinating with local police for the arrest. Should happen within the week. I spent the next few days in a strange limbo. My regular duties continued. Briefings, training exercises, equipment maintenance. But my mind was 8,000 miles away, focused on a suburban house in Colorado Springs, where my ex-wife was deciding whether to protect her criminal husband or help federal agents destroy him. Chen found me in the mess hall on Thursday morning, staring at my untouched breakfast. "You look like hell, Lieutenant." Waiting for news. "The investigation is moving to the arrest phase." Good. About time that bastard faced consequences. Rebecca's cooperating. That should help. Chen sat down across from me. "You think she really didn't know?" "She's not that good an actress. Marcus played her too." "Smart move. Keeping her in the dark. Makes her a more credible witness." My phone buzzed. Text message from Agent Valdez. "Call me. Important update." I stepped outside and dialed her number. "We've got a problem," she said without preamble. "Marcus knows we're investigating." "How?" Rebecca told him. "Last night, after our interview. She thought she was giving him a chance to come clean." "Shit. Is he running?" "We don't think so, but we need to move fast. The arrest is happening tomorrow morning. Colorado Springs PD will execute the warrant at his workplace." "Why not at home?" "Too many variables. His office is controlled environment, fewer escape routes." "What about Rebecca?" "She's safe. We've got her statement recorded. She provided documentation of his computer usage, confirmed the timeline, gave us access to their home internet records." "And Marcus doesn't know she cooperated?" "He thinks she just warned him about the investigation. He has no idea she's been working with us for 3 days." The next morning, I sat in my office watching the clock. The arrest was scheduled for 10:30 a.m. Colorado time. That made it 12:30 a.m. in Korea. I'd been awake for 20 hours. My phone rang at 12:47 a.m. "It's done," Agent Valdez said. "Marcus Webb is in custody." "How did it go?" "Smooth. He was at his desk when we walked in. Didn't resist, didn't run. Just sat there looking shocked." "Did he say anything?" "Asked for a lawyer. Smart move, considering what we've got on him." "What happens now?" "Arraignment tomorrow. Federal charges will be filed within the week. Wire fraud, identity theft, computer fraud, mail fraud. We're looking at a solid case." "Timeline for trial?" 6 to 8 months. But I think he'll plead out. The tray is overwhelming. 2 weeks later, Agent Valdez called with the resolution. Marcus Webb accepted a plea deal. 5 years federal prison, full restitution, permanent ban from financial services industry. 5 years seems light. It's his first offense, and he cooperated once he realized we had him dead to rights. Plus, full restitution was part of the deal. You'll get every penny back, plus damages. How much total? $47,812. That covers the fraudulent charges, interest, fees, and credit repair costs. When? Restitution starts immediately. His assets are being liquidated. You should see the first payment within 30 days. I felt something release in my chest. Not relief exactly, but a loosening of I'd carried for months. What about Rebecca? No charges. She was a victim too, in a way. But the marriage is over. She filed for divorce yesterday. Good for her. There's something else. We've identified 3 other victims. Military personnel who had their identities stolen using similar methods. Would you be willing to help them navigate the recovery process? Of course. I'll send you their contact information. They could use someone who understands what they're going through. After I hung up, I sat in my barracks room thinking about the past 6 months. The sleepless nights, the constant anxiety, the feeling of being violated from 8,000 miles away. Marcus Webb had tried to destroy my life while I served my country overseas. But he'd failed. The system had worked. Federal investigators, local police, banking security, credit monitoring services. All the pieces had come together to catch him and make him pay. I opened my laptop and started typing an email to the 3 other victims Agent Valdez had mentioned. They deserved to know they weren't alone, that justice was possible, that their service to the country meant something even when criminals tried to exploit it. 12 months later, I was back at Fort Carson, Colorado. The rotation had ended in March. Spring in the Rockies felt different than the humid air of Camp Humphreys. My credit score had fully recovered, 823, higher than before Marcus Webb had tried to destroy it. The restitution payments had come through exactly as Agent Valdez promised. $47,812, deposited in monthly installments over 10 months. I'd helped 11 other service members navigate identity theft recovery. Word spread through military networks faster than official channels. Soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines who'd been victimized while deployed overseas. Each case was different, but the pattern was always the same. Someone back home exploiting their absence. The YouTube channel had grown beyond my expectations. I launched a YouTube channel reviewing vetted finance apps for veterans. 63,000 subscribers now. The videos were simple. No fancy editing, just straight talk about protecting your finances during Weber's credit monitoring apps. Secure banking practices. Document storage, power of attorney safeguards. The comments section told the real story. Hundreds of service members sharing their own experiences, warning each other about red flags, celebrating successful recoveries. A community built around protecting each other from predators who targeted military families. Rebecca had reached out once, 6 months ago. A brief email apologizing for not seeing the signs earlier. I'd responded with 2 words. Stay safe. She deserved better than Marcus Webb, but that wasn't my responsibility anymore. Agent Valdez had been promoted to supervise the military fraud task force. She'd called last month to update me on Webb's status. He was serving his sentence at a federal facility in Texas. No early release. No reduced sentence. 5 years meant 5 years. The 3 other victims I'd helped had all recovered financially. 2 had been promoted. 1 had gotten married. Life moved when justice was served properly. My phone buzzed with a notification from my banking app. Direct deposit from the Army. Regular pay, nothing suspicious, nothing unexpected. I'd learned to appreciate the mundane reliability of legitimate transactions. The barracks room was quiet except for the distant sound of evening formation. Tomorrow I'd start preparing for another, this time to Germany. But tonight, I sat at my desk reviewing the security protocols I'd developed over the past year. Digital footprint minimization. Multi-factor authentication on every account. Credit freezes during lows. Trusted contact verification procedures. Simple steps that could prevent what happened to me from happening to others. The laptop screen showed my latest video upload. Finance security, lessons learned the hard way. Already, 300 views in the first hour. Comments from active duty personnel, asking questions, sharing their own precautions, building the knowledge base that could protect the next generation of deployed service members. Marcus Webb had tried to steal my identity, my money, my peace of mind. Instead, he'd created something better, a network of veterans helping veterans. A resource that would outlast his prison sentence and my military career. The evening light faded outside my window. Somewhere in Texas, Webb was counting down the days until his release. But here in Colorado, surrounded by the quiet efficiency of military life, I'd found something he could never steal or replicate. Purpose. Community. The knowledge that justice, when properly pursued, actually worked. It was finally over, and the silence felt earned.